New at noon, no one is hurt after a shooting at a Springdale Whataburger early this morning. It happened at the Elm Springs location around 2 o'clock. Police say they were called to the restaurant after a caller reported that their vehicle was shot at by a Dodge Ram truck that then drove off from the scene. Surveillance video shows the vehicles following each other throughout the city before parking at the restaurant. Springdale officers say the truck was dark colored and was last seen traveling north on I-49. They do believe it was an isolated incident and that there is no active threat to the public. Today, the country says goodbye to Dick Cheney. This is his funeral at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Cheney died this month after battling pneumonia as well as cardiac and vascular disease. He served 2 terms as vice president under George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009. Former President Bush delivered a eulogy, applauding his former partner's
Dick Cheney was like that, sparing and measured with words. In a profession that attracts talkers, he was a thinker and a listener. And when he did speak up, conveying thoughts in that even tone of voice, that orderly, unexcitable manner, you knew you were getting the best of a highly disciplined mind.
Other speakers include Cheney's grandchildren and daughter Liz Cheney. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. President Donald Trump signed legislation late last night to release more Epstein documents. The Department of Justice now has 30 days to release all unclassified Epstein files. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
With the bill to release the Epstein files signed into law, the Attorney General has 1 month to produce unclassified and investigative documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell.
We'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency.
That could include flight logs, interviews, and the names of individuals, including government officials referenced in connection with Epstein's criminal activities and plea agreements. But the legislation also includes a provision that allows the DOJ to temporarily withhold information that could jeopardize any active federal investigation. Last week, President Trump ordered a new probe into Democrats associated with Epstein. Some lawmakers worry that could delay the release of some files.
We think every name should come out. Everything. There should be no cover-up.
Reporters asked Attorney General Pam Bondi what triggered the new probe, despite the DOJ's comments back in July that no additional investigations were warranted.
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads.
Tom Dupree is a former federal prosecutor.
Obviously, they have had prior investigations. They have had prior criminal proceedings arising from this. So presumably, they've already plowed this ground fairly extensively. That said, it's always possible that new information could come to light.
Epstein survivors have said they want maximum transparency and the entirety of the files, not bits and pieces or mass redactions. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
FBI Director James Comey is facing new scrutiny. Prosecutors told a U.S. district judge that the final version of Comey's indictment was not presented to the full grand jury, a significant procedural error that could affect the future of the case. Comey is charged with obstruction of justice and making false statements. The judge is now reviewing whether the indictment can still stand. A 64-year-old Clarksville woman has died after a single vehicle crash in Johnson County. Arkansas State Police say Catherine Cook was driving south on County Road 3451 around 2:50 Wednesday morning when she failed to negotiate a right curve and hit a tree. Troopers say that Cook was the only person in the vehicle. Conditions were clear with dry roads at the time of the crash. State police are investigating what could have led up to the incident. A Huntsville student is in custody after deputies found a handgun on a school bus this week. Authorities say the case is linked to an overnight theft. Early Wednesday, Madison County deputies responded to a burglary in the Japton area where the guns and a vehicle were reported stolen. Their investigation led to the identification of a juvenile student. Later, officers found the missing handgun on a school bus before the student reached campus. Authorities say the motive is unclear, but thankfully nobody was hurt.
We don't know of any particular motive. We hope there was no grander motive to do harm to anybody for sure.
The sheriff there says that these kind of incidents are rare in the Huntsville area, but he's encouraging parents to be aware of their children's whereabouts. School district notes that there is no current threat to the public or students. As for now, the Huntsville Police Department says what happens next with the student will be up to the court system. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has announced more than $150 million in new financial assistance for water and sewer projects across the state. The package of loans will support 52 cities, counties, and water systems. It follows a 2023 executive order directing a full review and update of the Arkansas Water Plan. The first phase of that review wrapped up last year. Phase 2 is underway now and expected to wrap up next summer. In our area, Clarksville, Bentonville, Garfield, and Lincoln are a few of the places that have received the funding. The Washington Water Authority also received over $1.2 million to support its Goose Creek project. The city of Springdale is looking at plans that would help transform it into a regional destination for sports tourism. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi has more with Springdale's plan.
The city of Springdale already has a vast network of outdoor sports facilities, including the 6 softball fields right here at J.B. Hunt Park. The city's now trying to figure out what would it look like if we added an indoor complex to that mix. At a recent city council meeting, members reviewed a master plan that lays out what it would take to turn Springdale into a regional sports destination. At the heart of that plan outlined a 119,000 square foot facility, large enough for 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts, 24 pickleball courts, and even a family entertainment center. Garver LLC, the firm behind the presentation, says that once you include parking and green space, the project would cover more than 8 acres and could have an economic impact in the city of nearly $8 million in its first year. That number growing to $16 million by year 5. Colby Fulfer, Springdale's chief of staff, says building a regional sports hub wouldn't just draw visitors, it would have a direct impact on the local community.
We're going to create an excellent community asset for the residents of Springdale to use this indoor facility. It also creates a sports destination hub for Northwest Arkansas. Those are the top 2 things that it does. But I would say one of the most important is that it generates opportunities for more revenue for the city of Springdale as we bring in these sports tourism dollars.
During that presentation, Garver said that J.B. Hunt Park right here could be the regional hub for softball. They also didn't recommend too many changes to this park, but did suggest changing the grass fields to artificial turf to improve tournament play. No official decisions yet have been made by the council as to whether or not to move forward with that plan. That will all be coming at later meetings. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Well, more and more Americans are turning to Walmart to ease the burden of the ongoing affordability crisis. In its quarterly financial report posted today, the company says its business in the U.S. is surging and gaining market share from rivals. Last quarter, Walmart's domestic sales were up 4.5%. The retail giant saw an increase in customer trips to stores, and shoppers spent more during the visits. The company also raised its sales and profit guidance, indicating that it expects a strong holiday shopping season. The U.S. Department of Transportation is launching a new civility campaign called the Golden Age of Travel Starts With You. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the effort aims to restore courtesy in the air and address a sharp rise in unruly passenger behavior. According to the FAA, in-flight outbursts have increased 400% since 2019, with more than 13,000 unruly passenger incidents reported since 2021. 1 in 5 flight attendants reported physical incidents the same year, and 2024 saw twice as many unruly events as 2019. The campaign encourages travelers to help fellow passengers, control children, and show basic courtesy, including saying please and thank you. Officials say that simple manners can improve safety for everyone. The department also notes it is continuing work on air traffic control upgrades, expanding hiring, and steps to make travel more family-friendly.